Hey guys, my name is Alex. My pronouns are they, them, theirs. I want to apologize in advance. I thought this was going to be my 9-month update video, and I counted incorrectly, and this is actually my 8-month update video. I don't know how I got an entire month off, so don't ask. I just... whoops. But that being said, there is a lot that I want to bring up in this video, and there's a lot that I want to talk about. First and foremost, physical changes. My voice is still dropping. Hair growth is still coming in. I finally got some chin scraggles, even though they're few and far between. The hair on my arms is starting to grow in more, and on my hands is starting to grow down. My chest hair has been starting to come in, which I don't personally like, just because it's too masculine for me. I'm not personally a fan, but I mean, it's not too hard to deal with and fix, so it's not the worst trade-off. My fat is starting to turn into muscle, especially on my arms and my stomach. So that's kind of cool, especially considering I haven't worked out in like months. My neck is also still continuing to grow kind of broad, which is giving my jaw a more masculine feature. So that's kind of cool. But really the biggest shifts, like all physical changes aside, the biggest shifts I've been noticing are people's social interactions with me. So I left spring term last year being read as mostly female still, and have returned to school this fall term being read as mostly male, and the way they interact with me is completely different. When I was being read as still mostly female, kind of, people weren't, I don't know if I was giving off like some anxiety or uncomfortability, like just because of my own thing going on, or if they were just picking up on that, or like what. But they were still kind of like, you don't really know what you're doing, do you? And me being just kind of full of nervousness was like, nope. But I don't know, but now that I don't have that as much for one reason or another, people just assume I have more confidence in what I'm saying, and I don't know if that's because my voice has dropped and now I'm able to feel like I'm finally able to assert myself a little bit better. I'm still really trying to learn how to do that, and not even like gender things coming into play, but just with anxiety in general coming into play. But the tonal cues and patterns that people use around me are completely switched. When I am around like stereotypical bros now in class or anything, they drop their voice, it's very monotone like this, they just slow forward speak. And when I'm around females, their voice is raised, and they're like, hi, sing-songy, skippy, la da 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 da, and I'm just like, whoa, that's really weird. And especially trying to figure out what vocal tone pattern I want to use, because when my voice was first starting to drop and I was still using female vocal patterns, I got read as a gay man, which honestly, the first time I heard that, I started laughing uncontrollably, just because I never thought in my life I would be read as a gay man, especially because, like, I don't know, I used to be read as butch dyke, which I wasn't that either, and more recently I've been being read as gay man, and I'm not either of these things. So it just kind of goes to show how much people will misrepresent me just to try and make me fit into these boxes for them to be more easily understanding of what and who they're interacting with. But I'm neither of those things. I have never identified as gay or lesbian, but I don't know, some people just use the same, I don't know, people's boxes are weird. I'm here to try and destroy boxes, but it's not going as well as I'd like. I've also noticed that me walking through town at night has changed a lot, so now when I walk past a guy and on the street, he'll kind of size me up and be like, are you a threat? Do I need to like fight? And I'm just like, I don't have time for this. I'm just trying to go home. Take your fragile masculinity elsewhere. I don't have time for this. Really, like, come on. And then if I walk past a girl at night, I notice that she walks further away from me. So now I'm being perceived as a threat both ways, either to be sized up and be like, you might somehow invalidate or challenge where I stand, versus you might actually attack me. And that's all because like things are changing. But I mean, obviously I'm not gonna hurt anyone. So that's just really sad to have happen and have people perceive me as a threat simply because I read as more boy. But that being said, I think it's really interesting that some people are so quick to deny that sexism and rape culture exist and that these things are real. Like, I'm noticing firsthand, like, what it means. Well, I don't want to say what it means to be a boy in our society because I do not identify as boy and I do not want to present as boy, so I am not going to pretend that I want to deal with any of that. Not that I would want. What am I trying to say? Basically, as someone who is being read quickly as boy, and the challenges that go with boy, like just passing strangers on the speak. Keep in mind, I don't speak to these people, but they are just perceiving me as a threat. And that's just really sad. And I don't understand how people can deny that sexism and rape culture are a thing that are happening and prevalent in our society. And they're just like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's not as bad as you make it out to be. Yes, it fucking is. And we need to fix that immediately. For everyone's safety. Not just queers, not just trans people, just everyone needs to be safe, and if we do not challenge and address these things, then it's going to put that off substantially. Not substantially. Significantly. There we go. Significantly. I also think that, like, part of the reason I am being read as boy so much is because of the haircut, so, like, hopefully once it grows out a little bit more, I'll be able to present as more androgynous again. Hopefully. I hope. Which brings me to my next point in terms of like how I present, and going back to my point of vocal cues earlier. So one of the reasons I started T was for my voice to drop. My voice was one of my biggest sources of dysphoria, but I've almost gone, I wouldn't quite say full circle, but if you were to imagine it was like a horseshoe, and here are the points, and here's like the fine, very fine, small, medium. Here's female voice, and a little bit more masculine, more like blip of an androgyny, and then now it's too masculine. So my voice basically has dropped so much. I'm usually androgynous until I speak, and that was how it was like for me pre-T, and now it's almost that way again, but on the opposite side. And I knew that going in, you know, voice, like, the mark is like right here, and it's really small and easy to miss. But it just kind of sucks that once again I'm finding my place at the spot where I'm androgynous until I speak. And that just kind of sucks. But I mean, there are still changes I want to see in myself. Like I said, I really want facial hair, and I really want all these things to happen, so I think I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet, because that's just part of being non-binary. We don't get bodies that, or presentations that perfectly present us. We don't get to fully present ourselves to the world. There's always something a little off. No one will ever be able to see us as fully us. And I know that gender is a social construct, and you know, all these things, and people are really good about validating and everything, but in terms of how I relate to my body, it's really hard, because there will always just be something off. I will never have it right. That just got kind of depressing. I'm sorry. But so, knowing that, I want to try and take the opportunity of being out, and being out as non-binary and using gender-neutral pronouns. Like, I want to help other people create a script. Well, for lack of a better term, I guess, script, but like a guideline of how to interact with a third option of gender, because we are given so many scripts and cues of how to interact with boy and how to interact with girl, but people don't really know how to make sense how to interact with others necessarily. And granted, I'm still first-handedly trying to figure that out as well, so I imagine other people are trying to figure that out with me, but I really hope that we can give more scripts of how to interact neutrally with gender nonconforming, genderqueer, agender, non-binary people, and so that can become more prevalent, and we don't have to face so many pressures of being interacted with as boy or girl, and that we can just have a comfortably neutral middle, or other, or whatever is comfortable for people. Because, I mean, really, if you think about it, like, how often do any of you guys hear about non-binary issues? Probably not a lot, I would imagine. And I mean, on one hand, yay, like trans people are finally being brought to media light and are getting coverage and we're being talked about, but non-binary erasure is still very real. Like, we aren't talked about. We just aren't. And bathrooms are a sensitive subject to every trans person. Or most. I don't want to use blanket statements, but for most people, it's really uncomfortable. And as a non-binary person, I'm especially scared because I feel safe in a girl's bathroom because they're less likely to beat me up, but I know that most people read me as boy now, so I feel this pressure to go into the boys' bathroom, and I don't want to go in there. I really do not. I know that nothing specifically has happened to me recently or anything, but like in the queer community, we almost live vicariously through other people's experiences, and just reading about all the trans murders and the kids getting beat up in bathrooms, like, it doesn't have to happen to us for us to be scared. Knowing that it's common for other people in our community to go through that is terrifying in and of itself. So girls' bathrooms are safer, but I feel like if I go in there, they're gonna think I'm a boy going in a girl's bathroom, and they're gonna think I'm being creepy, and I don't want to make them uncomfortable in their bathroom, but I don't want to go in a boy's bathroom and have them, like, also size me up and try to evaluate what to make of me, and then think that it's okay to just, like, hit me or anything. Like, I'm not saying that that necessarily would happen, but, like, it's a fear that I have, and I'm worried about it. Not to, like, be on an agenda or anything, but this is kind of why gender-neutral and single-use restrooms are really important, so everyone can feel safe. And honestly, we just have to pee. We do not mean anyone any harm. The fact that anyone can think that is absolutely ridiculous. Fucking evaluate yourself. Please do not think that trans people are, like, trying to hide themselves from you or anyone else just to, like, creep on you. We don't care. We just need to go to the bathroom. Everyone just needs to pee. That's it. Anyway, all that aside, I really hope to be able to help progress this discussion further. I really want to be able to educate people, and I mean, as a non-binary person, we don't really have any other option than to be out. We don't really have stealth, which many binary trans people do have. So I would really like to be a person who is out and is using that to help other people understand, and I'm trying to find different ways to advocate for that more. But again, if any of you guys have questions or want me to elaborate on anything, please feel free to let me know. I would love to do my part and help. Aside from all that, I hope you're all well, and I hope that those of you who are in school are having a good first term, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Take care.